Monday, March 20th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including suspects caught in a robbery in Newtown, a kayaker rescued in Greenwich, and much more. Frank Rito is back with a look at your forecast and later on a Nutmeg sports update, and Donald Ang will join us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, a volunteer firefighter in Monroe and a minor are facing charges in connection to a dispute that took place in Newtown early Saturday morning. Police say they received a 911 call around 3:30 in the morning from someone on Elizabeth Street to report a dispute. A resident then explained that two individuals broke into their home and physically assaulted her companion by punching the victim in the face. According to investigators, the perpetrators were known to the victims. Officials say 18-year-old Brian Anthony Carriero of Monroe was attending a firefighter training course in Trumbull, where Newtown police went and removed him from class to place him under arrest. Carriero is being charged with burglary, disorderly conduct, and assault. He was released on a $5,000 bond and is scheduled to appear in court on March 20th. A 17-year-old man was also found to be involved in that incident and is being charged with the same violations. And in Wilton, a firefighter and two others were injured after a fire broke out at Route 107 in Georgetown Sunday night, according to News 12 Connecticut. 3 people were hospitalized as a result of the fire, which sparked in a barn on Church Street. The road was closed for several hours during the investigation. Several area fire companies responded to the blaze, and we'll bring you more details on that fire as it becomes available. And state police are looking for the public's help in connection to a fatal crash on I-91 northbound in North Haven Saturday morning. This happened around 2:40 when troopers responded to I-91 northbound in the area of exit 11 following a multi-vehicle fatal crash. Upon arrival, troopers found 3 vehicles, a 2004 Ford F-150, a 2015 Ford Fiesta, and a 2004 Jeep Liberty stopped on the highway. The operator of the Ford Fiesta sustained fatal injuries, and the operators and occupants of the Ford F-150 and Jeep were transported to local hospital for evaluation of non-life-threatening injuries. Police are asking anyone who may have information regarding the crash or the vehicles prior to that crash to contact them at 203-393-4200. They say all calls will remain confidential. And Greenwich police rescued a kayaker in distress on Saturday. Police say they received a Mayday distress call by radio for a person in the water who had fallen out of a kayak due north of Great Captain's Island. When Sergeant Sean O'Donnell and Sergeant Michael O'Connor arrived via police boat, they located the kayaker in distress along with 2 other kayakers about 200 yards north of Great Captain's Island. The kayaker that had been in the water was now partially aboard a kayak and appeared to be potentially hypothermic and exhausted. Greenwich police removed that kayaker from the water and transported the victim to the Indian Harbor Yacht Club, where Greenwich EMS was awaiting. The victim was treated and rapidly transported to Greenwich Hospital with a low body temperature. The patient is reportedly doing well and was treated and released from the hospital. The other 2 kayakers were able to paddle to Byram Harbor without any further incident. Greenwich police say although everyone has had enough of the snow, the conditions were not favorable to kayaking over the weekend. All those kayakers involved were fit and experienced, but not prepared for Mother Nature's wrath and water temperatures that would require a dry suit. They suggest all kayakers check out paddling.com for some great information about kayaking safety. And Stratford firefighters were called early Saturday morning to a fire at a home on Wood End Road. Fire Marshal Brian Lampart said firefighters responded about 3 in the morning to a second-floor blaze of a house at 584 Wood End Road, a 2-story Cape-style house. Under the command of Assistant Fire Chief Steve Alesevich, firefighters contained that fire to the second-floor bedroom. Lampart said the home's entire second floor sustained extensive smoke and heat damage, and the first floor sustained some moderate smoke damage as well. All 4 of the home's occupants got out of the building before firefighters arrived, and there were no injuries. The Red Cross responded to assist the family with temporary housing, and the cause of that fire is under investigation. And in other news, Trumbull police are investigating an attempted robbery of a private security guard while he was on duty in the Oakview Drive area of town. This happened on Thursday, March 9th at about 7 at night. The guard stopped behind a silver-colored Toyota Corolla parked in the area of 100 Oakview Drive. He exited his vehicle and was approached by the suspect, who was the operator of the Toyota. That suspect asked the guard for a light, and when the guard looked away, the suspect struck him in the face and said, "Give me what you've got." A scuffle ensued, and the suspect broke free and fled the scene in his vehicle while driving toward Old Town Road. The guard did receive some minor injuries during that altercation. The suspect was described as an African-American male, about 5'8", 150 pounds, with short facial hair. He was wearing a dark-colored hoodie at the time. Anyone who may have information about that incident is asked to contact Trumbull Police at 203-261-3665. Let's switch gears now. Throw it over to Frank Granito, who is just enjoying some much more beautiful weather, Frank, but you're back.
Yeah, it's a little tough coming back to the snow, Kate, but a happy spring to you. It is our first day of the new season, and we will welcome in that season with mostly sunny skies around the county today, an expected high of 51 and a light breeze this afternoon. We'll see some late cloud cover moving on this evening. Chilly overnight and temperatures dropping down to 31 degrees with increasing cloud cover heading into Tuesday morning. Tomorrow morning kicks off with mostly cloudy skies, milder conditions as temperatures are in the mid-40s. We'll see plenty of sunshine though tomorrow afternoon as the cloud cover clears out and temperatures reach up into the mid-50s. Partly cloudy tomorrow night and colder out with the wind chill dropping temperatures into the low 20s. Those cool conditions are going to stick around for Wednesday, though. Temperatures only reaching into the low to mid-30s. Breezier out, gusts of wind between 20 to 25 miles per hour. So despite being mostly sunny, Kate, we're looking at real feel numbers of about 25 during the day and in the single digits overnight as winter isn't quite ready to surrender to the spring just yet.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Eng joins us to take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update and more local news coming up after this.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now during the spring clearance event and Ram Truck Month, now through March 31st.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
Wild Birds Unlimited.
At Wild Birds Unlimited of Brookfield, get expert advice from our certified bird feeding specialists. We offer always fresh, clean seed that will be sure to attract birds to your home feeder. Experience our excellent customer service. Open 7 days a week. Visit us at 317 Federal Road, Brookfield.
Wild Birds Unlimited. We bring people and nature together.
It's the In-Sports Athletic Functional Movement Assessment Program.
A program that uses a camera, the same camera that you use with an Xbox video game.
What it involves is three phases. One is the initial test, which will give you a very objective and lengthy assessment of how you are moving and where there may be imbalances.
Once test gets the results from the assessment, we'll develop a customized program for the individual.
The objective really to try to get as many young athletes through this program as possible.
Welcome back to this March 20th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and it's time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, it's been 20 years since a terrible day in Tokyo. But first, though, we go to 1852. Connecticut teacher Harriet Beecher Stowe's book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, published. The novel depicts the realities of slavery while asserting that love can overcome something even as destructive as enslavement. Believe it or not, a number of southern states cited the novel as a reason for leaving the Union in their articles of secession. To 1897, the first college basketball game in what we would call modern basketball. That is 5 players on a team, and where the students are actually players are actually students at the schools. Previously, the game had been played with 9 players on the court for each team, and players substituted out could not re-enter the game until another player scored. Also, a player had committed 2 fouls, had to sit out. Yale, in that first game, defeated Princeton 32-10. 1915, Albert Einstein publishes his general theory of relativity. That's it right there. The theory is considered one of the greatest scientific achievements ever, and you could fill libraries with explanations and analysis of it. The short version is that what we experience as gravity is caused by the fact that matter bends space-time around it. I'm going to stop right there because we're already butting up against the limits of my understanding. Finally, now we go to 1995, 22 years ago for this.
This is the first alert of the atrocity by the Supreme Truth cultists, and in the coming hour, calls for help and emergency reports would flood in as chaos overtook the Tokyo subway system.
That is the Japanese emergency radio signal there for the sarin gas attack in the Tokyo subway. The Japanese called Aum Shinrikyo carried out the attack that killed 12 and sent nearly 6,000 people to the local hospitals with vision and respiratory problems. About 100 members of the group were eventually jailed, 13 sentenced to death by hanging, though those sentences have not yet been carried out. The cult still has about 2,000 members and continues to recruit. That is your look back in history for today, March 20th, and I'm Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, a Bridgeport man was arrested Friday at the Saugatuck train station after he was found to be carrying a taser, according to police. The Connecticut Post reports that 53-year-old Sean Frazier of Hanover Street was approached at about 4 p.m. after an officer spotted him panhandling money from commuters at the One Railroad Place station in Westport. Police said Frazier acted suspiciously when confronted and offered vague responses when questioned. After Frazier began to place his hand inside his jacket, police said they searched him and uncovered an electronic weapon known as a taser. But let's throw it back now to Frank Ernino for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. And we had the boys and girls basketball championships take place over the weekend at the Mohegan Sun Arena as the CIAC crowned this year's champions. Unfortunately for the Trumbull Eagles, the girls saw their season come to an end in the Class Double-L championship game with a 42-36 loss against New London. The game turned at the end of the third quarter when the Whalers kept the Eagles off the scoreboard for an 8-minute span. Trumbull was never able to overcome that 9-point deficit. They finished the year with a record of 26-2, and it was their first state championship appearance since 2002. On the boys' side of the court, the last remaining FCIAC team was the Trinity Catholic Crusaders, who beat WCA last Thursday to advance to the Class S championship. Crusaders led wire-to-wire, holding off Westbrook 61-52, earning the program's 7th championship and its first since 2011. Dimitri Moyse led the Crusaders with 20 points in the game, and Contavio Dutrail added a double-double, scoring 13 points and collecting 13 rebounds. Congratulations to the Crusaders. In boys hockey, the New Canaan Rams had their season end in the semifinals on Friday. when top-seeded Northwest Catholic doubled up the Rams 6-3 to advance to tonight's championship game. Catholic scored in the first minute of the game and would lead on goalie Cal Squara's 35 saves to keep the Rams out of striking distance. Penalties, again, a problem for the Rams, and it was 2 goals in an 18-second span at the end of the first that saw this one get out of hand. On the other side of the bracket, number 2 Ridgefield continued their march to a state championship with a 5-1 win over West Haven in the second semifinal. The teams enter the third period tied at 1, but 4 unanswered goals by the Tigers, including 2 by Jack Stafford, propelled Ridgefield to their first Division I championship game. Sean Keegan strong again. He made 19 saves in that game. We'll have a full preview of tonight's championship game, hopefully be joined by Trinity Catholic Crusader, and we'll look back over the weekend and the winter season all this afternoon on Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock. That's going to do it for this Nutmeg Sports update. Let's send it back over to Kate.
Thanks so much, Frank. Well, the JCPenney store at the Connecticut Post Mall in Milford is among 138 stores that the company plans to close. In February, JCPenney Company announced it was implementing a plan to optimize its national retail operations by closing 2 distribution facilities and approximately 130 to 140 stores. Well, JCPenney has now identified those stores that will close and said it will also close 1 supply chain facility in Lakeland, Florida, and relocate 1 supply chain facility in Buena Park, California. Approximately 5,000 positions nationwide will be impacted by those store closures, according to the company. And they said stores affected will begin to liquidate by around April 17th. But you can get more on that story at milfordmirror.com. Well, despite the piles of water in its frozen form everywhere, Darien is still one of several Fairfield County towns suffering from an ongoing drought. This prompted Darien's Board of Selectmen to renew a state order for an irrigation ban barring most outdoor uses of water on Monday. The ban was enacted late last year in response to a public water supply emergency announced by the State Department of Public Health and Aquarian, the region's water provider. Well, in a February report to the Department of Public Health, Aquarian stated that the local reservoir systems in Greenwich and Stamford were at 68% and 61% full, respectively, significantly below their normal levels of approximately 88%. To compensate for the lack of rain, a ban on outdoor water use was put into place back in September. In the time since, Aquarian has set a goal to help residents in Darien, Greenwich, Stamford, and New Canaan reduce water consumption by 20%. Well, the Department of Public Health's original order for an irrigation ban expired after a 150-day period, but was reenacted on March 1st. On Monday, the Darien Board of Selectmen renewed the local ban with fewer restrictions, allowing residents to use water in limited quantities as weather warms. The new order still bans using water to irrigate lawns and gardens or wash sidewalks, and allow plumbing fixtures to leak is still considered unlawful. But you can get a lot more on that story at DarienTimes.com. And what's next for the 28 Katuna Street property beside the post office where the former Cumming House was torn down back in December in Ridgefield? Well, Christine Dugas, spokesman for the U.S. Postal Service, said the property has been graded and seeded, and there are no immediate plans for the property other than that. The property belongs to the adjacent shopping center's owners, but the Postal Service has control of it by lease through 2048. First Selectman Rudy Marconi has long had ideas for the site. He said, "We'd like a phase 2 to include a pocket park and possibly an expansion of parking there." But a lot more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we have more details on that Wilton fire overnight coming up after this.
when it comes to considering the outside of your home, just imagine the possibilities. Whether your dream is a stunning freeform pool or a tranquil, secluded garden, the team of professionals at Stonebridge Associates will make it a reality. We offer unparalleled landscape design and construction, masonry development, pools, spas, and water features, as well as landscape and garden maintenance. No other firm can offer the same level of creativity, quality, and personal attention. Discover the possibilities at stonebridgeassociates.net or call 203-544-8376 today.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
We told Dad he could have his office back if he sold 150 cars last month.
Deal's a deal.
Well, Dad, you did it. You get your office back.
Forget it. I'm having too much fun down here. My new goal, 160 cars.
Wow.
Folks, if you ever wanted a great price on a new Nissan, now is the time.
Right now, lease a 2017 Altima 2.5S for only $99 a month.
Isn't it time you got Millerized?
Welcome back to this Monday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and we're running down the top stories of the day, including a volunteer firefighter in Monroe and a minor are facing charges in connection to a dispute that took place in Newtown early Saturday morning. Police say they received a 911 call around 3:30 in the morning from someone on Elizabeth Street to report a dispute. A resident explained that two individuals broke into their home and physically assaulted her companion by punching the victim in the face. According to investigators, the perpetrators were known to the victims, and officials say 18-year-old Brian Anthony Carrero of Monroe was attending a firefighter training course in Trumbull, where Newtown police went and removed him from the class and placed him under arrest. He's being charged with burglary, disorderly conduct, and assault. He is scheduled to appear in court on March 20th. A 17-year-old man was also found to be involved in that incident and is being charged with the same violations. And in new details from HAN's Wilton Bulletin, a Wilton family from the Georgetown section of town was put out of a home, and a firefighter suffered minor injuries to his legs Sunday evening, March 19th, when a barn converted to a home caught fire. The converted barn at 1 South Church Street took 3 hours to fight, according to firefighters, and it was badly damaged. The Red Cross was believed to be assisting the family with a place to live. Now, the injured firefighter hurt his lower leg muscles and was treated and released at Norwalk Hospital. Two individuals also suffered minor injuries, according to Georgetown firefighters. Several local fire departments, including Weston, West Reading, Reading Ridge, and Ridgefield, assisted just before 7 p.m. Route 107 from the intersection with Route 7 in Reading was closed for several hours. But you can get a lot more detail on that story at wiltonbulletin.com. And state police are looking for the public's help in connection to a fatal crash on I-91 northbound in North Haven on Saturday morning. Around 2:40 in the morning, troopers responded to I-91 in the area of Exit 11 following a multi-vehicle fatal crash. Upon arrival, troopers found 3 vehicles, a 2004 Ford F-150, a 2015 Ford Fiesta, and a 2004 Jeep Liberty stopped on the highway. The operator of the Ford Fiesta sustained fatal injuries, and the operators and occupants of the Ford F-150 and Jeep Liberty were transported to local hospital for evaluation of non-life-threatening injuries. State police are asking anyone with information about that accident or regarding any of those vehicles to contact them at 203-393-4200. And Greenwich police rescued a kayaker in distress on Saturday. Police say they received a Mayday distress call via radio for a person in the water who had fallen out of a kayak due north of Great Captain's Island. When Sergeant Sean O'Donnell and Sergeant Michael O'Connor arrived via police boat, they located that kayaker in distress along with 2 other kayakers approximately 200 yards north of Great Captain's Island. The kayaker that had been in the water was partially aboard a kayak and appeared to be potentially hypothermic and exhausted. Greenwich police removed that kayaker from the water and transported the victim to Indian Harbor Yacht Club, where Greenwich Emergency Medical Services was awaiting arrival. That victim was treated and transported to Greenwich Hospital with low body temperature. That patient is reportedly doing well and was treated and released from the hospital. The other 2 kayakers were able to paddle into Byram Harbor without any further incident. And finally, it was a great day to be Irish in downtown Milford on Saturday when the annual Milford St. Patrick's Day Parade filled the streets with marching bands, Irish dancers, a fire-breathing dragon, and lots of parade watchers. Now, the parade was originally scheduled for March 11th, but had been postponed to March 18th due to snow and cold temperatures. While Saturday's forecast predicted some wet snow, thankfully the weather held out to the pleasure of local families and St. Patrick's Day Parade regulars. And there are a lot more stories from the parade at milfordmirror.com. But let's throw it back over to Frank Granito for one final look at the forecast. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Again, that first day of spring, we're going to welcome it around the county with mostly sunny skies, an expected high of 51 today. There is a light breeze out there, and we'll see some late cloud cover moving in this afternoon before a chilly night with temperatures dropping down into the low 30s and increasing cloud cover before Tuesday morning. Mostly cloudy tomorrow morning before we see sunny skies later in the day. A high right around the mid-50s and then partly cloudy tomorrow night and colder out though with the wind chill dropping temperatures into the low 20s. Those cooler temperatures are going to stick around for Wednesday as it will be chilly out again. The real feel somewhere between 20 to 25 degrees, windier with 20 to 25 mile per hour gusts, and then we're going to see numbers in the single digits overnight on Wednesday, but hopefully warming back up a little bit on Thursday as spring taking a couple days, Kate, just to get back into the full swing of it.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, we're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. 12:30, HAN Arts and Leisure live in studio. 2 o'clock, Nutmeg Sports. And of course, we will see you for your coffee break tomorrow at 11. Have a great day.